Saturday night at UFC Fight Night 196, the main event features a middleweight bout between former UFC middleweight championship title challengers Paulo Costa and Marvin Vettori. Let's break it down. Paulo Costa is 30 years old. He's 6 foot tall with a 72-inch reach and a record of 13-1 with 11 knockouts and 1 submission. From Belo Horizonte, Brazil, Costa took up Muay Thai at the age of 9, then began training in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu as a teenager under the tutelage of his older brother. For a time, he worked as an IT teacher until his brother was able to convince their mother to support him financially so that he could pursue a career in MMA. He turned pro in February of 2012, scoring a first-round knockout of Teo Esteves, then won his next 7 by stoppage before being selected for the Ultimate Fighter Brazil, where he defeated Jose Roberto by a guillotine choke. He lost his next match by split decision and then made his official UFC debut in 2017, scoring a first-round knockout over Garreth McClellan to earn his first performance of the night bonus. After knocking out Oluwale Bam Bose, he had his first real challenge in former welterweight champion Johnny Hendricks, quickly overpowering him and knocking him out with 2 powerful uppercuts. Next up, he took on dynamic veteran Uriah Hall, gradually wearing him down in an all-action fight with a full side of withering body shots before knocking him out with a 4-punch combination punctuated by a thunderous uppercut. He was expected to fight Yoel Romero in April of 2019, but was pulled out for undisclosed reasons. It was later revealed that after a thorough investigation by USASA, Costa was found to have taken over 100 milliliters of a banned substance after the weigh-ins for the Bom Bose and Hendricks fights, and he was subsequently given a 6-month suspension. The two finally clashed in August of 2019, engaging in a wild brawl, exchanging knockdowns in round 1 and continuing to trade bombs down the stretch, with Costa winning a very close decision. On September 27, 2020, he faced middleweight champion Israel Adesanya at UFC 253 and was completely outclassed, sustaining heavy damage to his left leg from the champ's low kicks and having his face opened up by a head kick before he was finally dropped in round 2 by a counterpunch and finished off with ground and pound. A highly aggressive pressure fighter, Costa has a solid chin and ferocious punching power and sets a furious pace, continually assaulting his opponent's bodies with heavy punches and kicks at a rate of 7 strikes per minute. Marvin Vettori is 28 years old. He's 6 foot tall with a 74-inch reach and a record of 17-5-1 with 2 knockouts and 9 submissions. From Mezzo Corona, Italy, he developed a passion for MMA at a young age, having been inspired by such fighters as Mirko Cro Cop and Fedor Emelianenko. However, due to his sport's lack of popularity in Italy, he had to train weekly in 6 different gyms throughout the country. His path to become a more well-rounded fighter found him first in London and eventually to California, where he trains at King's MMA under the tutelage of Rafael Cordero. He turned pro in 2012 and went 10-2 before making his UFC debut 4 years later with a first-round guillotine choke of Alberto Uda. He followed that up with a unanimous decision over Vitor Miranda and a hard-fought draw with Omari Akhmedov. In April of 2018, he gave future middleweight champion Israel Adesanya his toughest test to that point, losing a hotly contested slugfest by split decision. He bounced back the following year, beating up veteran Cesar Ferrara and then dominated Andrew Sanchez. After years' worth of cancellations and postponements due to opponent Carl Roberson missing weight, the pair finally met in June of 2020, with Vettori overwhelming and submitting him in round 1 via rear naked choke. 7 months later, he stepped in as a last-minute replacement, taking on 5th-ranked Jack Hermansson. Vettori dominated from the start, dropping Hermansson in the first and controlling the fight with accurate strikes and elite-level grappling. 5 months later, he completely wiped out knockout artist Kevin Holland, setting a new UFC record for takedowns with 11 while busting up the Trailblazer with vicious ground and pound. On June 12, 2021, he challenged for the middleweight title, taking on old rival Adesanya in an eagerly anticipated rematch. But despite some early takedowns and momentarily getting the champ in a rear naked choke, he was completely outclassed on the feet, losing a wide unanimous decision. A relentless pressure fighter, Vettori is excellent at cutting off the cage and is also an effective grappler who constantly wears his opponents down while possessing some of the best cardio in the game, remaining just as dangerous in the last round as he was in the first. Will Borrachina be able to overwhelm Vettori with his power and aggression? Or can the Italian dream wear Costa down with his stamina and wrestling abilities as both men seek to regain the momentum they had prior to their bouts with the champion? Tune in Saturday night to UFC 196, Costa vs. Vettori, and let's find out.